we also touched down on the ChatGPT losing millions and millions of dollars only because of pleasantries, politeness. Not just that, Ranveer Allahabadia has shared an update about comedian Samay Raina that is surely going to tickle your ribs, but not to miss out on the trouble that is mounting for Samay Raina. That's not all. We have received more and more responses and more videos for our Positive Influencer program. So do stay tuned for the mega announcement as well on the Republic School of Journalism. All this and a lot more packed into tonight's show. Let's get started with all that's trending today with me, Rakshita Mishra. After making a much hoped-for appearance at St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday, Pope Francis, the world's first Latin American pontiff, has passed away at the age of 88. In an official statement, the Vatican informed Bishop of Rome that Pope Francis returned to the home of the Father. While a reason for his death was not announced, Pope Francis had battled health issues for a long time, including a chronic lung condition. He had double pneumonia recently, and his tenure had received mixed reactions, viewers, with many calling him too modern, some calling him too traditional for the Vatican. So Pope Francis, viewers, was elected on the 13th of March 2013 at the age of 73 when the Vatican was struggling with infighting. Much beloved for his humility, commitment to the poor, Pope Francis strongly advocated for war-affected populations in DRC, Congo, the Republic of Congo and Palestine, and also propagated the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage and universal love. Condolences started pouring in after the passing away of the Jesuit Pope from global leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Israel's President, and Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, to citizens across the globe grieving his death. In fact, to speak to to speak about the legacy of Pope Francis, Father Nicholas Dias, from the Archdiocese of Delhi, viewers, listen into what he said. Right, we have Father Nicholas Dias, who is from the Delhi Archdiocese and is Secretary for Commission of Liturgy and chaplain for the Anglo-Indian Community of India. Father Dias, thanks so much for joining us on Republic TV. Now, how does the Catholic community, especially in India, remember the legacy of Pope Francis?
Francis was a tall figure in the world scene. He took stand where it mattered. He was the first Jesuit Holy Father from the Latin American country. It's a record, kind of, and he knew the pulse of the people. So India is characterized by multiple religions, poverty, and our own Prime Minister has met him twice at Vatican. He has received his blessing and his embrace, and that is his nature. That we were also expecting Holy Father, in case he was well, to be for the exposition of Saint Francis Xavier last year in Goa, my home state. But because of his ill health, he could not travel. Otherwise traveled more than 60 countries of the world. So I feel personally he is a loss for a great many relationships he built up across the globe, embracing all kinds of people, especially to the downtrodden, the marginalized, the immigrants. And as Delhi and India, so much of migration taking place, it also gives us a food for thought for our own. And as a priest of Delhi Archdiocese, last 29 years, I have been following him. And also, I had the honor of having Mass celebrated for President Joe Biden during his visit to Delhi for the G20 summit. And he did mention that I am closely following the Holy Father. So his influence has gone far and wide.
Father Dai, thanks so much for joining us on Republic TV and remembering the legacy of Pope Francis.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, now in yet another achievement for the Indian Space Agency, the Isro has successfully executed the second docking of the two satellites which are part of the SpaDeX mission. V. Narayanan, the Isro chairperson, said that the mission was a child's play for the organization. The SpaDeX mission was launched on the 30th of December last year when Isro placed two satellites, SDX-01 and SDX-02, to demonstrate the docking experiment in space. And to shed light on Isro's latest success, we have former Isro director Venkateshwar Sharma on the broadcast. This is, of course, the second docking that has been done by Isro as far as the SpaDeX is concerned. It's a major leap in space. How do you see this development?
Yeah, it's a great event. Just to give you a recap of what has happened during the launch on 30th of December 2024, successfully the two satellites, SpaDeX-1 and SpaDeX-2, were launched in the orbit with a spatial distance of about 20 kilometers. Please remember that they are in the same orbit and they travel at the speed of about 28,000 kilometers per second. And on 16th of January 2025, the first docking attempt was made and it was successfully docked with the random docking. After that, and then the redocking and what happened on March 13th. That is, the undocking of the mission happened on the 13th of March. After that, the satellites were separated at 20 kilometers distance and traveling at 28,000 kilometers per hour. That was the condition when Isro started attempting to dock on a Saturday, that is the last Saturday and Sunday. They were attempting to dock at that time. The speed of the satellite was about 28,000 kilometers per hour, and they were spatially separated by about 20 kilometers. Now, from 20 kilometers, the distance was reduced to 15 kilometers, then to 10 kilometers, then to 5, and then the final 1.3 kilometers was achieved. From 1.3 kilometers, there are two main things happen, what is called as randos and docking. One satellite will be almost stationary, other satellites will start moving towards the other one, and it has to catch up, and then it has to lock. This is what happens. And in that last, what is called as 1.5 kilometer distance, several things happen. There is what is called as coarse docking, and there is called as fine docking. In the coarse docking, the speed of the two satellites keeps on reducing, and it comes to about 3 to 4 kilometers per hour type of thing. Approaches 1 kilometer, and when it approaches 0.5 kilometers, reduces further, and when it approaches about 3 minutes,
right,
5 minutes to 3 minutes to dock, the speed of the satellites have to reduce to about 10 millimeter per second. Please imagine that we are reducing the speed from 28,000 kilometers per hour to about 0.036 kilometers per hour. That is about 10 millimeters per second is the speed at which it can dock. Then when the docking happens, the exchange of power between the two satellites happen, information exchange happens, and the two satellites independently control each other, and they exchange information about their location.
Right,
because the angle of inclination, the speed of the satellites, and the docking angle is extremely important.
Absolutely, sir. Of course, it's a major leap and a very important process, and of course, another feather in the cap for Isro. But thanks so much, Mr. Venkateshwar Sharma, former Isro director, on the broadcast. For more on that, viewers, we shift our focus now to ChatGPT. If you find yourself saying please, thank you to ChatGPT, you're not alone, and you might be now costing OpenAI a lot more than you think, just for politeness. Yes, you heard that right. A recent comment by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman revealed that user politeness contributes to tens and millions of thousands of dollars in electricity costs due to the computational effort involved in generating those extra conversational responses. And in fact, responding to a query on social media platform X by Twitterati, who mused about how much the company might be spending on polite exchanges. Altman replied, "Tens of millions of dollars well spent." Now, polite interactions with ChatGPT viewers contribute to millions of dollars in electricity costs that has sparked a wave of witty and wary responses on X. While the revelation has raised eyebrows, many users chose humor and a touch of paranoia as well to process this news. All right, now time for some a look at the more trending stories this evening on Hot Trends. A viral confectionery trend on TikTok is sending ripples through international nut markets. The demand for a pistachio-filled chocolate bar, popularly dubbed Dubai chocolate, has caused a worldwide shortage of kernels. Now, first highlighted in a TikTok video late last year, the bar's popularity exploded with over 120 million views and countless imitations online. So age is definitely not an obstacle for this 82-year-old Indian grandmother. Meenakshi Raghavan on your screens. She teaches the ancient Indian martial art of Kalaripayattu. She says that she has no plans to retire as well. Indian Army officer turned fitness influencer Khushbu Patni has won the internet by rescuing a distressed child, a girl child, from an abandoned building near her home in Bareilly. The child, whose real name is Inayak, was handed over to the Bareilly police, and this is Disha Patni, the actor's sister as well.
Auntie, hello. हाँ हाँ कोई बात नहीं कोई बात नहीं हाँ 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 कोई बात कोई अपने बच्चे को हमारे घर के पीछे एक खंडर है वहां छोड़ के चला गया है कोई बात नहीं इसको उठा लेते मम्मी इसको ले आए क्या.
In a now viral post on LinkedIn, a first-year student at Delhi's Hansraj College shared her frustration about being unable to land an internship despite being a college topper. Her post soon gained traction for its brutally honest take on how skills, not grades, often define success beyond the classroom. A video claiming from the Supreme Court's parking lot has gone viral. The parking lot that does not appear to be less than a luxury auto exhibition has created buzz for having a slew of luxury vehicles from BMW to Mercedes. Now, this has left several netizens astonished, while others raised concerns about corruption in the judiciary as well. All right, viewers, now we're getting to one of the big stories that we are tracking for you. It's JD Vance and his family, who is in India with his family, and they've gone all desi just when they touched down on Delhi. They are now, of course, on a tour of several historical sites in India. In fact, as we speak, the live update that we have is that the Prime Minister is meeting JD Vance with his family right now as we speak. That's the latest. So JD Vance, there you have the visuals, meeting Prime Minister Modi along with his family in the National capital. And Prime Minister Modi is going to hold a formal dinner. He's going to host a formal dinner for Vance and family. Earlier we saw J.D. Vance visiting Akshardham temple with his kids, his 3 children and his wife as well. So that's the Vice President of the United States of America meeting the Indian Prime Minister, and this is happening at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, that is the residence of the Prime Minister in the national capital. And in a short while from now they will be holding talks. Of course, trade will be very important. Trade defense talks will be very important as far as the bilateral meeting is concerned, apart from the dinner with the Vance family. And these are the latest visuals coming in on your screens. And of course, this is another important leader from the from the administration, from the Trump administration, visiting India. We had Tulsi Gabbard recently, and now we have J.D. Vance as well. He's the Vice President of the United States. And earlier, there are plans of J.D. Vance and family to visit Agra, to visit Taj Mahal and also Jaipur. He'll be going to the Amer Fort. Senior Executive Head Abhishek Kapoor joins us on the broadcast for more. Abhishek, well, the first pictures of J.D. Vance and family meeting the Prime Minister right now on the screens. What do we expect next?
Yes, the meeting is taking place at 7 LKM, and J.D. Vance, the United States Vice President, is accompanied by an official delegation. There is a team from the Trump administration that's there, and the Prime Minister, of course, accompanied by his team, and they're holding talks, following which there is going to be a formal dinner that Prime Minister is hosting. I beg your pardon, not a formal dinner, it's a private dinner. And after which the Vance family would be, wheels up for Jaipur, and that's the private part of the visit. We are expecting a statement on the bilateral that takes place now at around 9 p.m. from the Indian side, and roughly around the same time from the Americans. And that's how the evening is going to pan out. A whole gamut of India-US relationship, essentially sort of an appraisal happening. Remember, just in the month of February, which is 2 months back, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump had that delegation talks in the White House when Prime Minister was visiting the United States, and now the Vice President is in India, essentially on a private visit, except for this official meeting that's taking place with Prime Minister Modi. We are also going to get pictures of Prime Minister's interaction with the Vance family, given the fact that the second family, Usha Vance, wife of J.D. Vance, and their 3 kids, Ivan, Vivek and Mirabel, have accompanied the Vice President to the 7 LKM residence of the Prime Minister. So we are waiting for the meeting to get over, and then we will have the statement and of course other details as to how the meeting panned out.
Right, Abhishek. In fact, the Vance family, very interesting visuals came in as they touched down. The children were wearing ethnic clothes, and a very funny moment also that was shared, very light moment also. And this actually shows the bonhomie, the way they are meeting, and Prime Minister Modi is also hosting them for dinner as well. And one after the other, we see that the top leaders from the Trump administration visiting India. How do you see this entire development? Although the the tariff talks continue, but this relation between under Trump 2.0, is also of utmost importance.
Well, absolutely. First, the family bit. So when Prime Minister, remember the second meeting that's taking place between Prime Minister Modi and J.D. Vance also, because they had met in Paris when Prime Minister had gone there to participate in the World AI Summit organized by France. And after that, of course, he had gone onwards to the United States. There also the kids were present with Mr. Vance, and the meeting had taken place. So that's the family bit. But the meeting itself is very crucial and really indicative of the manner in which at the highest levels these frequent intense engagement takes place between India and the United States. So in a way it's a reflection and a happy commentary on the way the 2 largest and the strongest democracies of the world are engaging with each other. Jan 20 is when President Trump takes over. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is present in the oath-taking, in the swearing-in ceremony, as it's called. Next day, the first bilateral that the Trump administration has, Marco Rubio, does with Jaishankar. And then you have, in the month of February, Prime Minister visiting United States. Then you have, on March 6, our Commerce Minister, Piyush Goyal, visiting United States in Washington, D.C. Then you have, on March 20th, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, coming to New Delhi. And then now when J.D. Vance has come, our Finance Minister happens to be on the west coast of the United States in San Francisco, and she's traveling in US. So that really gives you an idea and a measure of the kind of intense top-level engagement that's really happening. So when this meeting happens, for example, the trade relationship appraisal that was done between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump to set a $500 billion worth of annual trade target by 2030, and that's an ambitious target given the fact that as of now we are at $130 billion. In 2015, when President Obama had come in Prime Minister's first Prime Ministership, at that time India-US trade was $80 billion. It has come to $130 billion, so not even doubled in one decade. In 5 years, we have set a target of more than tripling it. And so obviously, it gives you a sense of how the two leaderships are thinking in terms of shielding the India-US partnership from the headwinds on the tariff front. And that perhaps is going to be discussed whether in the meeting that's taking place. In a while, we would know what transpired.
Right, Abhishek. We're keeping a close eye on all the developments. Thanks so much over the meanwhile joining us with those details on that big breaking that we're getting right now. Viewers, we shift our focus to the other stories that are in fact trending. This is Fast Trends. The Miami Beach Police Department has added a striking and unexpected vehicle to its fleet. A 2012 Rolls-Royce Ghost valued at around $250,000. With an intent of this vehicle is to park interesting and rival churches on Greece's Chios Island kicked off their annual Easter tradition by pelting hundreds of fireworks at each other's buildings in a bid to hit their opponent's church bell. And now, viewers, we have a mega announcement to make. This is about Republic School of Journalism, viewers, and we have the executive editor for news, Narayanan Swamy, who is joining us for that. Niranjan, take it away.
Well, Rakshita, every year Republic, hires about 300 to 500 journalists. And in the last, 7 to 8 years since Republic was launched, we have worked with over 5,000, 6,000 journalists. Now, mostly what we have seen in the course of all these years is that the people we hire are, especially straight out of colleges, don't really know what happens in a newsroom. And then we thought, what can we do about that? And that is how Republic School of Journalism, the idea was born. And we are proud to announce the Republic School of Journalism applications are now open. The course commences in June. Now, let me tell you in brief what this course is all about. We will be training students. You just need to be a graduate to apply. And we will be training students in this beautiful campus of ours. You will not be sitting in a classroom or hearing boring lectures. It's a complete practical course where you will be learning what a breaking rundown is. For example, you just saw the J.D. Vance story. how a story is broken, how anchors take that story, how you create content on digital, and how simply, there is a camera in front of me, how to hold that camera and how to frame that particular shot. All of that will be done real time, and you see the PCR and the MCR and the ingest rooms behind me, the technical aspects of digital broadcast, all of which was missing until today in India. If you go to any so-called school of journalism, this is what is missing, and we will give our students first-hand experience, learning in the real newsroom, learning in the real studios, and this will be their campus. Our campus, our Republic campus, which is Asia's largest and biggest integrated news center, will be their classroom. So I'm handing it back to you, and if you're watching this broadcast, all you have to do is, if you want to sign up for RSJ, log on to republicschoolofjournalism.com and file that application.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, और घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला।
MDH।
You don't learn journalism in a classroom. You learn it live, inside a buzzing newsroom, on the field, and in the studio. At Republic School of Journalism, we train the future of media inside Asia's largest integrated newsroom. Learn live. Apply now to RSJ. republicschoolofjournalism.com. Applications are open. If your dream job involves a mic, a newsroom, a camera, a breaking story, or just creating content, this is your calling. Republic School of Journalism is accepting applications. republicschoolofjournalism.com. Apply now.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
सर फैंस हैं, शोर तो करेंगे ही ना।
नए वाले नहीं करते।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
सस्ते वाले दाल मसाले स्वाद हुआ बेकार। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
If your dream job involves a mic, a newsroom, a camera, a breaking story, or just creating content, this is your calling. Republic School of Journalism is accepting applications. republicschoolofjournalism.com. Apply now. You don't learn journalism in a classroom. You learn it live.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the debate this evening, it's been 2 weeks since the violence in Murshidabad and the anti-Hindu violence, but the problem is nobody in this country wants to accept it is anti-Hindu violence, it's not anti-Waqf violence. Let's get our terminology right. At 9 o'clock tonight, judicial overreach. I believe there is judicial overreach, and I believe most people in this country believe there's judicial overreach. But why does the Supreme Court not agree yet that there is judicial overreach at 9? What happened in Bengal was not anti-Waqf violence. It was anti-Hindu violence. And yet the fake and pseudo media calls it anti-Waqf violence. Why? Because they do not want to admit that there is an organized targeting and killing of Hindus in our country. That Haragovinda Das and his son Chandan Das were killed because they were Hindus. So that makes it organized anti-Hindu rioting. The victims are all Hindus, the victims are not Muslims. The ones who have had to leave Murshidabad are all Hindus and not Muslims. And this anti-Waqf thing is at best a cover to try and make the organized violence against Hindus appear to be a sophisticated political protest. That is what Mamata Banerjee wants. That is what Rahul Gandhi wants. That is what Asaduddin Owaisi want to do. They want to make it appear as if the killing of Hindus is incidental. Oh, the Hindus happen to die, but the bigger issue is Waqf. Oh, we're very sorry some Hindus got killed, but that's not the big issue. The focus should be on the ostensible reason for the violence, which they want to make the real issue, which in this case becomes the assumed anti-Waqf protests. Like earlier it was anti-CA, anti-NRC. Oh yes, Hindus were killed during anti-CA protests. But these were political protests. We're very sorry some Hindus died. But no, we must not focus on the fact that Hindus are the victims and Hindus are being butchered. We must focus on technical issues regarding CA, NRC, and in this case, anti-Waqf. But ladies and gentlemen, I am here to take on that Lutyens media which lies to you. Because what they are saying is absolutely untrue. Has Owaisi or Mamata or Rahul Gandhi or in the All India Muslim Personal Law Board taken responsibility for the violence? Or for that matter, has any anti-Waqf amendment group done so? No. No, they have not taken responsibility for the violence. Then I want to ask these Lutyens channels with a 4-letter name, on what basis do you call this an anti-Waqf protest? Really? You don't want to accept the reality. And the reality is that this is pure demographic targeting and cultural targeting of Hindus. Biggest irony in India, where 82% Hindu population still exists, where there is over 80% majority. This is the way in which Hindus are being killed and targeted. All these places in Bengal where Hindus are in a minority are becoming unfeasible for Hindus to live in. In places where Muslims are in an absolute majority, a very dominant majority, where Hindus are in a very feeble minority, like in Murshidabad, the remaining Hindus are being forced out. And not one Lutyens media group is willing to call this for what it is. It is organized anti-Hindu violence. And now let me talk about the organized response of the Hindu community. And I hope this video is sent to you, because wherever you are and whatever your religion is, let me say, the organized response of the Hindu community is being watched. I must say that the Hindu community has, as usual, exercised admirable and remarkable restraint, showing such an attitude even amidst such dangerous violence, terrible and bloody violence by Islamist radicals. The Hindu community has shown faith in the law and belief in the Constitution. But does restraint and faith in the law mean that we should not call a spade a spade? That we should have finger on our lips, remain quiet, slapped on one cheek, show the other, some kind of a Gandhian philosophy? No, viewers, nationalists must not remain silent. We are law-abiding. But remaining silent for what? This is anti-Hindu violence, and we nationalists must speak out against injustice. We must not take pride in being silent spectators. First, we must make people accept and acknowledge that Hindus are being targeted. And that is why my hashtag is #anti-Hindu violence. And I need your help to make this very, very relevant hashtag absolutely viral tonight, viewers. Because there must be a growing consciousness among everyone, especially the Hindu community in this country, that Hindus have a right to exist. All this minority, majority thing is not the issue. The issue is Hindus are being targeted. Let's debate.
Hindus hacked to death. Hindu homes attacked. Hindu shops looted and set ablaze.
पूरा आग लगा दिया, 3 घर मतलब पूरा आग लगा दिया है, और कुछ मतलब पानी भी पीने का ये नहीं है, सब टैंकी होंगे, सब मतलब कि सब मतलब तोड़ फोड़ के मतलब कुछ भी ये नहीं है यहाँ पे।
दुकान सब कुछ जला दिया पूरा। और जैसे काउंसिलर गया, काउंसिलर का जाने का 5 मिनट भी नहीं हुआ, सब ढील पत्थर शुरू हो गया फिर।
Hindu temples vandalized, idols destroyed and dumped on the streets. The Lutyens media may play down the Murshidabad violence, giving it a Waqf protest cover. But the horrific tales at the Malda relief shelters have barred the bitter truth that Lutyens media wants to keep under the wraps. With terror writ large on her face, a displaced Hindu woman recounted how she gave away everything she had to save her husband from a mob baying for blood.
এবার না না তোমার মেয়ের জন্য তুমি টাকা রেখেছিলে তাই তো?
হ্যাঁ টাকা রেখেছিলাম 7 লাখ টাকা, দু কাঠা মাটি বিক্রি করেছি 3.5 লাখ টাকা করে, 7 লাখ টাকা ছিল, কিছুটা ফুরিয়েছে বাটে করে সব নিজে হাতে দিলাম বের করে করে।
আচ্ছা তো ওই টাকা সব মানে তোমার ওকে মানে ডাক্তার দেখানোর যা টাকা পয়সা ছিল সব নিয়ে গেছে তাই তো?
সব নিজে হাতে দিলাম, কোনো 4 বাড়ি শোনা ছিল তাও দিলাম, নিজের স্বামীকে টুটিতে হেসা লাগিয়ে আছে, বলছে কি জিনিস কি দাও না তোমার স্বামীকে মেরে ফেলছি। স্বামীর বড় না টাকা পয়সা বড়, স্বামী টাকা বাঁচার লাগে সব দিয়ে দিলাম আমি।
ঠিক আছে
বাড়ি ঘর সব ভেঙে দিয়েছে, সব নিয়ে গেছে বাড়ি ঘর ভেঙে। একটু দেখা আসছেন মন্দিরটা আমার,
আমি তো দেখেছি,
আমাদেরই দিয়েছি, সরকারের নামে দিয়ে দিয়েছি।
Facing constant threats and fearful of fresh violence, Hindu families narrated their everyday ordeal as the BJP's Bengal chief Sukanta Majumdar visited the families of the murdered father-son duo in Murshidabad. Speaking to media, the Union Minister questioned why the plight of Hindu families does not shake the collective conscience of Bengal's intellectuals.
ममता बनर्जी मुआज्जिम और मौलवियों का जो फ्लॉप शो था उनको लेकर वहां पे बोला कि हिंदुओं को समझना चाहिए उनकी जमीन ले ली गई, मालूम नहीं मुर्शिदाबाद में कौन सी जमीन किसी ने ले ली। इस तरीके का मानसिकता का चीफ मिनिस्टर पश्चिम बंगाल में रहेगा तो सोहरावर्दी पार्ट 2, गेट कलकत्ता किलिंग्स पार्ट 2 और पश्चिम बंगाल का विभाजन तय है।
As Murshidabad reels under anti-Hindu violence and Mamta keeps away, where is the intellectual outrage tonight?
Channels in our country, Ajay, they call it anti-waqf violence. It's the most stupid definition, anti-waqf. What anti-waqf violence? Waqf is an excuse, Sushil. It is anti-Hindu violence, Advaita. You want to attack Hindus, you want to burn Hindu homes, you want to burn Hindu shops, you want to injure Hindus, you want to kill Hindus, you want to target Hindus, you want to make Hindus leave their house, and you say anti-waqf violence. Why the people who are going to kill the Hindus and burn the temples went with anti-waqf slogans there? There's such a big lie of the Lutyens media. We must expose these channels. I mean, at any point of time, please don't talk rubbish. Don't speak over me. Speak when you're spoken to. Hindus are being killed every single day. Viewers, I am asking, yeah, it is my agenda because it's anti-Hindu violence.
85%, 90%.
Because Islamist radicals are killing Hindus.
Who are being targeted every day.
Because Hindu temples have been broken. Because Hindu deities have been broken.
What will you do? Nothing has been done.
What will end up doing? And then they want to say, Sushil Pandit after that, no. This is an anti-waqf protest.
Community, 85% Hindus. We are strong and we are not victimized. It is the Muslims, our younger brothers, who are in minority.
Sushil Pandit,
in Bangladesh,
I think there is strong need to speak up against relentless anti-Hindu violence. Sushil Pandit.
Arnab, not too long ago, when in Bangladesh Hindus were targeted en masse, it was the euphemism used was it is political violence.
Political violence.
That's why BJP does this violence in Bengal.
Today it is called anti-waqf violence.
Anti-waqf violence.
They have always euphemisms. They always have a pretext. They always have a whitewash toolkit. They always have vocabulary to push it under the rug and to dub it something else. It is because there is hypocrisy, there is woke hypocrisy prevalent all over. It is not just the political representatives on your show, it is a huge body of media.
Yeah.
It is an entire class of intellectuals.
Absolutely, fake media.
It is the academia. It is the entire class of journalists. It is even the jurists, even the judiciary today is in the grip of this hypocrisy, this wokeness, where Hindus are involved. You invent other terminologies. You invent other euphemisms in order to downplay it, in order to...
Thank you for your opening remarks, Tausif. Before you go in, I want to say something, but you've been going in anyway. But my point is, Tausif, open your eyes and don't pretend to be blind.
So that BJP can seek vote by saying Hindu khate mein hai. BJP is creating this havoc so that BJP can vote people and say Hindu khate mein BJP ko vote de do.
You would maintain
That's what
your
BJP
vote
wants.
bank on a...
They bring people from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Jharkhand, all non-Bengalis. When you even in your camera you can see they can't speak proper Bengali. They're not localized. They're not localized. They can't speak proper Bengali. They come to Bengal and do this violence because they are protected by BSF.
That is the
BSF and central agencies are involved and helping BJP create this havoc so that BJP can set a narrative Hindu khate mein hai, BJP ko vote de do. They can't seek vote on any other issues. BJP wants polarization. They have no issues, no question about
Hindu khatre mein nahi hai.
No question about anything.
Hindu khatre mein nahi hai.
They want to create a narrative.
Let me tell you, Hindu khatre mein nahi hai. But it's your intention of creating Darul Harb into Darul Islam. That is bothering.
And they want to say Hindu.
Wherever the demographic changes are there, you guys try and make it absolutely Islamic. This is the problem. And when you get a support of government, like what you're getting in West Bengal, a blatant Islamist chief minister who's openly promoting radicals. Just imagine, Hindus were killed. Who was killed in Murshidabad? Hindus were killed. And whom this chief minister meets? Chief minister chose to meet all the mullahs of West Bengal in a stadium and saying, "मैं आपके लिए कुछ भी करेगा." अल्लाह का कसम बोलो, अल्लाह का कसम बोलो, अल्लाह का कसम बोलो, आपको बटना नहीं है. मतलब सारा वोट टीएमसी को देना, किसी और को मत देना. She has gone to such low level. She has gone to such low level that she was garnering Muslim supports at the cost of Hindu lives. खून लगा हुआ उनके आस्तीन पर हिंदुओं का. और आप जैसे लोग उसको फ्यूल करते हैं. And this person called Vivek Srivastava, absolutely no useless fellow. I have told him multiple times, whenever this Islamist movement will rise in India, the people like Vivek Srivastava will get killed first. Remember Yogendra Mandal, he was from same Bengal. What happened to him after partition when he went to Pakistan? Don't fuel this. Don't fuel this. Because if everybody will come on the street, it is going to create a havoc. West Bengal government is absolutely lost it. Mamata Banerjee doesn't know how to govern. To promote a single religion is wrong.
Not let you succeed in your divisive agenda.
My foot communists don't exist anymore.
War in this country.
Don't exist anymore.
We will stop you. We will stop you. तुम्हें रोकेंगे, सड़क पे लाएंगे तुम्हें.
See China, what do they do to Muslims?
कानून बंद करो. Stop your nonsense.
China पहले वहाँ देखो, उसके बाद यहाँ पे बनाना.
Targeting the Muslims.
Do you support Mamata Banerjee for Murshidabad violence? Yes or no?
85%. हम कहाँ से vulnerable हैं, sir?
Do you support Murshidabad violence? Yes or no?
We are going to stop you. Your Waqf bill. We will stop your UCC.
Do you support killing of Hindus in Murshidabad?
You wait and watch.
Speak.
We made you take back the
speak, otherwise keep quiet. If you have got to speak,
पूरे देश में उतरेंगे.
Oh, you made me take my farmers' bills. You guys don't understand anything. I'm asking a simple question. Vivek Srivastava, don't shout, please. Don't shout, don't shout. I'm asking a simple question. Do you support Mamata Banerjee, West Bengal government for Hindus killing in Murshidabad? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Louder, Jay, louder.
I may not support.
You lost your tongue. You had a paralytic attack.
And I dislike your.
Do you support Mamata Banerjee?
And I dislike the Sangh Parivar.
Do you support Mamata Banerjee?
Okay, viewers.
Did you like Mamata Banerjee speaking to all the Maulanas of West Bengal?
वापस लो.
And not visiting the Hindu family?
कम्युनिस्ट खड़ा है. एक मुसलमान को हाथ नहीं लगा.
Relax. No, there's no point. There's no point debating with such.
I think this point is, viewers, you should look at this mad, crazy argument, mad and crazy argument of Vivek Srivastava, where he said, एक मुसलमान को हाथ लगाएंगे तो ये होगा वो होगा. भैया बात सुनो, किसी ने कोई हाथ नहीं लगाई है, कुछ बोला तक नहीं. आप एक मिनट चुप रहिए और फेक भावुकता मत दिखाइए. Don't be an artificial fake Jinping supporter on my program. The question is this.
There is a competition of garnering Muslim votes.
I never tell people to be quiet. I'm only saying this, that viewers.
We don't need Muslim votes. We are communists. We don't believe in any religion.
Yeah, you are the guys who brought all the Bangladeshis in for 30 years into Bengal and ruined Bengal. Ruined industry, ruined demography, brought all the Bangladeshi Muslims in, and we don't need Muslims.
मुसलमानों के खिलाफ हम रोकेंगे.
अरे चुप रहे, कुछ किया नहीं आज तक आपने, ज़्यादा बकवास करते हैं.
What Hitler did?
Now viewers,
when he said the Jews and the communists are the enemies of the nation, and you say the Muslims and the communists.
Yeah, put your Stalinist finger down, please, when you're talking to me.
The same fascist media.
Put your Stalinist finger down. Okay? Thank you. You realize who you're talking to? Do you think you're on a Lutyens channel with a 4-letter name?
You
Do you think
support
you're
me.
on a Lutyens channel with a 4-letter
You
name?
support me. You support the constitution.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Arnab Goswami.
My point is,
Don't support these fascists.
see, I'm a
Ye
calm
fascist
kind of
hai.
guy, don't shout.
Aap
Now, my
fascist
point
ke
is,
saath khade hain.
my point is, Horogobind, now see, I was thinking this morning that where is the media getting it wrong? Then I told myself, Advaita and Atik, they are not getting it wrong, it is their plan. They are constantly talking about anti-Waqf protest, anti-Waqf protest. I saw a picture. Picture showed a temple being broken and somebody gets on top of the temple, like in Babri Masjid style, you know, got on top and start hitting the top of the temple with a hammer, and the top of the mandir breaks down, and then the temple is attacked and the deities are broken. In the case of Babri Masjid, everybody came out. But if a Hindu temple is broken down anywhere, then it is something to secretly congratulate yourself for, because the argument seems to be out here, Advaita, that good. If the Hindus are getting it back a little bit, very good. And if the Hindus talk about it, then mention Babri Masjid, mention Gujarat riots. If the Hindus complain about it, make the Hindus feel they are getting what they deserve. If the Hindus like Arnab Goswami or any rational Hindu like Advaita Kala come and say, why are you killing Hindus? Then tell them what happened to Pehlu Khan. So the reductionist argument out here is that the moment you say Hindus are being killed, we will tell you about one Muslim or two Muslims who have been killed in a different situation. But if you say that in the Gujarat riots, we want to remind you about the babies who were killed in the Sabarmati Express by the Muslim mob, we'll say irrelevant. Don't talk about it. If we tell you that the origin of the Gujarat riot was the relentless, acidic, malevolent, cruel killing and burning alive of Hindu devotees and their families and wives and children, we must say, don't talk about these things, talk only about Pehlu Khan. So they have an argument ready. My point is, I'm making this point to you as one rational citizen to another tonight, Advaita. We are not calling it anti-Hindu violence. We are calling it anti-Waqf protest. And by doing so, we are putting the focus on the Waqf issue rather than the killing of the Hindus. Put your hand down, no drama. Yeah, put your hand down, Atik. Don't do all this namaste wala drama and all with me. My focus is Hindus are being killed. They want to make the focus, it's an anti-Waqf protest. Now tell me, which anti-Waqf protester, which killer, which person out here who burned the shop said, I'm an anti-Waqf protester? Nobody did. But the terminology the media is using is very interesting, Advaita. I think it's part of a plan. Advaita Kala.
Part of the plan, it's cowardice, it's an abdication of duty, and it's immoral. Because what has happened in Murshidabad cannot be described in any other way. There were anti-Waqf law protests in different parts of the country. Murshidabad has used the Waqf board protest for a pogrom. And I'll tell you why I'm calling it that. Because reports and videos from Murshidabad have shown that black ink was used to mark Hindu homes. Okay, why was that done? Prior to the violence, the so-called protest, they were marked out, they were dragged out of their homes, identified by their faith, in Hindu shops, were torched, owned by Hindus, let me make that clear. Those were torched. People were rushing out of their homes, getting onto boats in the hundreds and dozens, trying to escape. Sounds familiar? It happened 35 years ago in Kashmir. And it's happening again in Murshidabad. And if we do not call it out for what it is going to continue, and it is going to devastate this country and cause a partition like what we saw in 1947 of West Bengal yet again. And there is no other way to say it. And apart from, this kind of immoral balancing act that is being carried out by the so-called Lutyens media, it's just disgusting. And I don't even think, Arnab, we should talk about them because they fail us at every level.
It's not a protest, Atik. This is not a protest. Suppose we say that the Congress leader who carried out the butchery of the Sikhs in 1984 were protesting against the Sikh community. Would you say Sajjan Kumar and HKL Bhagat and Kamal Nath were protesting against the Sikh community? Would you say Jagdish Tytler was protesting against the Sikh community? How are you even daring to use the word protest when Hindus, brothers and sisters are being killed? How do you even dare to do that? You call it a protest. If a Muslim is killed, you say it's a butchery. If a Hindu is killed, you say it's a protest. What's going on? Someone explain to me, Sushil. Look at the language and the semantics we are talking about here. This customized, organized Wikipedia type fakery is going on, Sushil. When Kashmiri Pandits are thrown out, it's a protest. When Kashmiri Pandit women are raped, it's a protest. The protest of rape, the protest of murder, the protest of killing babies alive in the Sabarmati Express, the protest of burning the Sabarmati Express. That's all protest. I mean, look at the language, look at the cheap tactics here, Sushil.
No, people should not.
People should remember that only Republic called this out.
Calm down.
You calm down. You calm down.
Sir, calm down.
You calm down. You behave yourself. Vivek, Atik, yes, Atik.
Arnab, you.
Now, please.
Atik and Sushil will be on the debate now, yeah.
Now,
because if you support me, be with me tonight.
You rightly said that people should not, take Murshidabad and the violence you said in Gujarat. But people should take a cue from Mr. Modi. How he utilized the Sabarmati incident to win elections and elections and election after election. And from chief minister to chief minister, he reached the prime minister's position.
That is your interpretation.
That is the biggest lie. That has not been held by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has spoken out against this specious, malevolent lie of yours. Now you will abuse the Supreme Court as well. You have no respect for anything. You just believe in the Zakir Naik point of view. You're a Zakir Naik supporter. You're a Zakir Naik. Remember, I'll never forget that. You're a Zakir Naik supporter. You're a Zakir Naik fan.
The Gujarat
Does Zakir Naik believe in the law? Then why is he a fugitive?
It's a thorn in your minds.
Anarchy, arson, molestation of women, rape threats.
Is a big
If Sabarmati was responsible for Modi victories, would you say Congress lost election after election after election after overturning Shahbano verdict? Would you say that?
Yes,
would you
after
say
opening the locks of the Babri Masjid.
UPA government lost election after that pernicious Waqf amendment in 2013? Would you say that?
Mr. Pandit, what was the opening of the locks?
False equivalence.
If you mention
would you
Shahbano,
say that Muslim appeasement year after year is leading to defeat of Congress and defeat of secularists?
Also opened the locks of the gates of the Babri Masjid.
Would you say that hypocritical
One was a Muslim appeasement, the other was a Hindu appeasement.
Would you say Muslim appeasement, Muslim appeasement, decade after decade, is responsible for your current political status? Would you say that? Would you admit to it?
Why are you getting so jittery?
Not jittery. We are becoming more vocal.
Not jittery. I'm giving you
more confident, more assertive, more questioning, more interrogative, and more vocal.
Would you say your non-action on Bombay attacks in 2008 has led to people realizing that your Muslim appeasement has crossed all limits?
The lives of my Hindu brethren was utilized by a person to win elections after elections.
Inaction in Kashmir
and you don't see any agenda in that.
Realization by Hindus that you are the enemy of Hindus. You realize that?
एक चीज की बात करो. Stick on a point. Stick on a point.
It's a simple thing. I have a simple theme tonight, and by the way, we have a ground presence. See, I'm not saying just like that. We have a ground presence. We are the biggest Bangla news network. We are reporting on the ground on the rape threats. I'm not talking just like that. You see, Ajay, when these pictures are Republic Bangla pictures, look at the women falling on the ground, their lives lost, and they are saying we need to keep the Hindu girls safe, Ajay. They are saying they are blatantly coming, that they will come and loot us. And then the woman says, when we ask them, why do you want to attack us like this? They say, we are not going to listen to any of you Hindus. We will loot you, we will rape you, and we will burn your houses down. And the Lutyens media will say, oh, these are anti-Waqf protests. These people are very paranoid about the Waqf. This fakery is going on in our country. Ajay.
Arnav, it's very clear. Arnav, it's very clear that what is happening in Murshidabad is a clear-cut targeting Hindus. There is no doubt about it. And they are able to do that because the West
But
Bengal
you're not sending enough central forces. You're not intervening. You're not intervening like your central government should. You're doing the same thing you did after the Bengal elections. After the Bengal elections, your BJP workers were targeted. They were killed. They were rendered homeless. There was butchery then. There were TV debates. But what are you doing to stop the anti-Hindu violence? People are saying, is there some arrangement with Mamata Banerjee? Is there some, tolerance levels are very high among you. Tolerance levels among our viewers are not high, Ajay.
No,
our viewers are enraged tonight.
Even today.
And just the visit of the governor is not doing anything.
Shame on the BJP.
Can I?
Shame on you for taking a Zakir Naik line and everything.
Don't matter for them.
Yeah. Shame on you. Let me reply to him.
Hindu lives don't matter
You guys are cowards.
Shame on you, BJP.
You guys are cowards. Okay. You guys are cowards. You radical Islamists, you are cowards. You dared to do this in Delhi. What happened within 24 hours? Everyone got arrested. And now everyone is running away from Delhi. And what happens in Bengal? Because you are getting Bengal support.
And now you are teaching
Bengal government support, so you are just flickering up. Don't worry, that support will also be enough. The governor has already sent a report. The matter is
you need to be more stringent.
Forces are there.
Where is Article 356 Arnav?
Ajay, louder please. Come on now, audio.
What are you doing with question for you, sir. Sir, one question for you. What will you follow? The Constitution or Sharia? What will you follow first? The Constitution or Sharia? You are speaking too much on TV. Now say, right in front of the TV. What you will follow first? पहले क्या मानोगे? संविधान या Sharia?
The Constitution is...
पहले क्या मानोगे? संविधान या Sharia?
Constitution and Constitution.
जवाब दीजिए.
बोल घूमने ना शुरू.
My home, my Sharia, my country,
आप लोग की नसों में गंदगी है.
Is it clear to you? Shame on you.
Please control your language,
He does not believe in this country.
Please control your language.
Does not have Sharia.
BJP people, you are
This country does not have Sharia.
Hindu lives don't matter to you. Shame on you.
This country does not have Sharia.
Shame on you. Doob maro.
And don't try to make this Darul Islam by all vicious thoughts. You're filled with hatred. This is your problem. Peaceful coexistence आपको आती ही नहीं है.
Central forces.
Peaceful coexistence आती नहीं है.
I'm saying I'm only questioning the language used here. You see, Advaita, the language used here. Rajiv Riaz Pratapgarhi ji, you are leading the anti-Waqf protest. As in, you are with All India MIM. But MIM has not taken any responsibility for the violence. That means the violence has been carried out by someone who has nothing to do with the anti-Waqf protest. But the anti-Waqf protest is being used as a cover. Some kind of a mukhota. Would you at least agree that these protests, unless you can establish that the people who are carrying out the violence, people who are killing Hindus, unless you can prove to me they have an anti-Waqf agenda, this cannot be called an anti-Waqf protest at all. It is anti-Hindu violence, anti-Hindu rioting, anti-Hindu killing, anti-Hindu rape threats. It should be called out for what it is. Rajiv.
अर्णव भाई, खून अपना हो या पराया हो, नस्ल आदम का खून है आखिर. जंग तो खुद ही एक मसला है. जंग क्या मसलों का हल देगी? In fact, riots have been our history. Today 3 Hindus are killed in, that's very unfortunate. They are Indians. That there cannot be Hindu, rioters cannot be Hindu or Muslim.
They are not rioters, they are victims and they are Hindus. They are victims and they are Hindus. In Gujarat riots, you did not say that the victims are not Muslims. You are refusing. You said the victims are Muslims, the perpetrators are Hindu. But here, when the victims are Hindus, you are saying they have no religion.
I am talking about rioters.
Don't be hypocritical, Rajiv.
This was not a riot. It was not one-sided.
I'm talking about rioters.
It was not a riot. It wasn't between two communities. It was one community exerting power
There cannot
and
be
its
Hindu
brutality over another community and
Ill-minded
doing it
people
in a
can be
planned
everywhere.
and organized
And
way.
nobody can support
and that
rats.
is the fact.
Rats
And that
have
cannot
caused
be
great loss to
escaped
our
from.
country.
And if you really care about Indian lives being lost, sir, you should acknowledge the fact that this so-called protest, which it was not, was actually a well-planned program to get rid of Hindus, and they
Let
have
it be
achieved
Hindu.
that.
Let
They
it be
chased
anti-Hindu
Hindus
riot.
out of the-
But there are Indians who are being
And
killed.
No,
but are these anti-Hindu riots or not?
Where Muslims are killed.
There
There are riots where Muslims are killed.
Environment where this has become possible. And
3 Hindus are killed.
Sandesh Khali,
So
this
Hindus
is
have
going
suffered here,
on and we're
but there
heading
are
towards
riots where
a
Muslims
very
suffer a lot.
dangerous situation.
I can tell
and
you-
as Indians, we should be worried
Yes,
about
and,
the
and
Delhi riots.
I'm saying, okay,
Darbhanga
okay,
riots.
except Rajiv,
Gujarat
listen
riots
to me.
where Muslims suffered a
Rajiv,
lot.
just listen to me. Rajiv, listen. I'm asking you.
Yes.
So thank you for accepting that these are anti-Hindu riots. So therefore, this is anti-Hindu killings and anti-Hindu violence. Am I right?
No, don't do Hindu-Muslim.
Why should I not do Hindu-Muslim?
Writers have no religion.
No,
They are
how do I
miscreants.
not
They
do?
must-
This is no religion. Okay, okay. What is the religion of Haragobindo Das? What is the religion of Chandan Das?
Yogi Sahib said he was a Dalit.
No. I am asking you.
Yogi Sahib said he was a Dalit.
So Hindu Dalit, Hindu कहने में प्रॉब्लम होती है आपको? आपको हिंदू कहने में प्रॉब्लम होती है?
नहीं
आपको हिंदू कहने में, हिंदू एडमिट करने में प्रॉब्लम होती है? हिंदू थे कि नहीं? हिंदुओं को मारा गया कि नहीं? जो the women who are there, the women who are, 1 minute, the women who are accused of rape and the women who've been molested, are they Hindu women or not? They are wearing sindoor, Baba. They are wearing shakha. Are they Hindu women or not?
उनको टारगेट किया है
टारगेट किया कि नहीं हिंदू औरतों को?
भाई
आप बड़े हिपोक्रिटिकल इंसान हैं
ना।
जब कंट्रोवर्सी होती है तो आप कहते हो मुस्लिम विमेन आर टारगेटेड। इधर जब हिंदू औरतों को मारा जा रहा है और रेप के थ्रेट मिल रहा है, मानने को तैयार नहीं, आप कैसे आदमी हैं?
Yes.
तो साफ दिख रहा है।
I am sorry for my brothers and sisters there.
सॉरी नहीं चाहिए, एडमिशन चाहिए। एडमिट कीजिए, हिंदुओं को मारा जा रहा है भारत में।
तो anti-Muslim riots also happen in this country, or no, भाई?
हाँ तो है।
What happened in Gujarat riots? What happened in Darbhanga riots?
I said it has not happened. अरे दरभंगा में, अरे मेरी बात सुनिए, मैं अभी आज की बात कर रहा हूँ, आज की बात कर रहा हूँ।
सर, लोग डरे हुए हैं, घर से बाहर निकले हुए हैं, उनको रेप थ्रेट्स मिली है, लोगों को मारा गया है, बच्चे परेशान हैं। ये अभी करंट सिचुएशन चल रही है।
अभी की सिचुएशन है।
मुख्यमंत्री वहां जा भी नहीं रही हैं। अब इन हालातों में अगर आप हिस्ट्री और फ्यूचर को डाइसेक्ट करना चाह रहे हैं तो हम क्या कहें? क्योंकि अभी इट इज वेरी टेरिबल सिचुएशन। People have been displaced.
आप मुझे बताइए, अब मैं बहुत सीधा सवाल करूंगा। मैं अजय आलोक जी को भी आमंत्रित करता हूं। ये कहना है कि ये जो जय फिलिस्तीन बोलने वाले आपके नेता है ओवैसी जी भी कुछ नहीं बोल रहे, मुर्शिदाबाद नहीं गए, है ना, मगर ये कहते हैं कि एंटी वर्क प्रोटेस्ट है, अगर है, एंड आई एम आस्किंग इफ इट इज एन एंटी वर्क प्रोटेस्ट, देन व्हाई वाज अ बस ड्राइवर आस्क्ड टू रिमूव अ सैफरन फ्लैग? भगवा झंडे का एंटी वर्क के साथ क्या लेना देना? नो, इट इज टारगेटिंग ऑफ हिंदूज, हिंदू कल्चर, हिंदू आइडेंटिटी, हिंदू सिंबल्स। अजय आलोक, इफ इट इज एंटी वर्क,
इफ इट हैज हैपेंड,
वक्फ तो बहाना है,
one point. This was
हिंदू निशाना है।
This was nothing anti-waqf. ये वक्फ एक बहाना था. These people are themselves supporters of Islamic radicals. May it be from TNC, may it be from AIMM, or the person sitting next. They are supporters of Islamic radicals. And let me tell you, Hindus live in India, and that's why these people are secured here. What happened in Burma? Don't you see that? बुद्ध का देश है ना वो। सारे रोहिंग्यास को मार के निकाला कि नहीं? What happens in China? Uyghur Muslims. How they are living? How they are living? This communists won't tell that. They are not allowed to even pray. They are not allowed to even pray in China. But they are happy because they understand only एक ज़बान। दंगाइयों को सिर्फ डंडे की ज़बान समझ में आती है। योगी जी said rightly. And here the government, instead of using danda, government is promoting them because they are vote factory.
Dangai.
They are the vote factory.
It's not Hindu-Muslim.
It is Hindu.
Dangai है ये लोग. And these people are supporting those dangais.
This
They
is
don't
the
have any
contradiction.
audacity,
Now
they don't
listen
have
to
any
this
guts
very carefully.
to condemn
Where he
that.
will now say, one minute, just wait. Ajay, just see, tactic देखिए. अरे मैं tactic बता रहा हूँ. And I want to tell you, ये सोनिया गांधी की dangerous सोच थी कि communal violence bill लाने की कोशिश कर रही थी उनकी NSC. If the NSC communal violence bill had been passed, then Hindus would always have been the perpetrators and Muslims always the victims. Sonia Gandhi wanted to create a situation in this country, Sushil, where a Hindu targeted with violence has nowhere to go, because he would have been told, but Sonia Gandhi has said as per the communal violence bill that you are a Hindu. You can never be a victim. She wanted to create a situation. At least thank God that bill did not go through.
You know, this is based on the theory, which is tyranny of majority. This particular invention doesn't fit in India. We face here a tyranny of minority, an aggressive minority. And place after place, district after district, state after state. I am in this panel representing an entire community that was cleansed from Kashmir, despite being the majority in India. We were the minority in Kashmir.
Shame.
But no champion of minority rights stood up for us. No champion, no leftist, no secularist, no centrist, no liberal, no media stood for us.
No, they want
Because
to
we were
create
Hindus.
fear. I'll tell you how fear is
Hindus.
created. I'll tell you how fear is created. They want to carry a situation where a Hindu in a Hindu majority country will not be able to display any Hindu religious symbols. There was a video where some people in skull caps are attacking an SUV which is displaying Hindu religious symbols. कल आप गाड़ी में ओम लिखेंगे, अपने गाड़ी में जय श्री राम का स्टिकर लगाएंगे, तो आपको डरना चाहिए कहीं आप टारगेट ना हो जाए. आप अगर भगवा झंडा लगाएंगे, आपको डरना चाहिए कहीं आप टारगेट ना हो जाए. So Hindus who are proudly saying we are Hindu, and we are proudly saying, you say you are proud Muslims, but Hindus, when they say are proud Hindus, a vehicle with Hindu markings gets attacked. And the Lutyens media says everything is about Waqf. It's not about Waqf. It's about an anti-Hindu mindset, for God's sake, in our country that's growing and prevalent. Now tell me, Atik, will you celebrate if Murshidabad becomes 99% Muslim? Tell me, Seedha Sawal. Murshidabad becomes 99%.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
We are responsible Indian.
You are not a responsible Indian if you do not acknowledge this is anti-Hindu violence. Hindus are being targeted. You must speak up about it.
Then Mr. Ajay
This is woke hypocrisy. In the name of responsibility, you don't want to admit the truth.
My Hindu brethren
You
in
don't
danger.
want to admit the truth
Why are
in the
they
name of
in danger
responsibility.
after
This
10
is the
years?
wrong
Hindu
cover,
Hriday
sir.
Samrat, Mr. Modi.
This is hypocrisy.
Mr. Amit Shah, the Hindu Hriday
This is
Samrat.
absolute.
Why are they in danger? Shame on you.
This is falsehood.
You should resign immediately. The Home Minister should resign immediately.
And
All
what should
central
Mamata
ministers
Banerjee
should
do?
resign immediately.
What should West
In
Bengal
your
government
presence,
do?
In the presence
What should
of
West
the
Bengal
RSS,
government do?
Why are
Should the
my
West Bengal
Hindu
government be
brethren
dismissed?
Feeling danger.
Should not she resign?
Why are they feeling danger?
Shouldn't the West Bengal government
Why are
be
they
dismissed?
feeling insecure?
Shouldn't AFSPA be promulgated?
Security or not?
Shouldn't
My
Murshidabad
Hindu
be handed
brethren
over to
are very
army?
secure. My Hindu
Shouldn't
friends are
Murshidabad
very
be handed
secure.
over to army
You
and
get out
AFSPA
of the-
promulgated?
No,
You
the
get
fact
out of
also
power.
is here.
Either
The
lead
problem
or
is with the
follow
media
or
as well.
get out of the way.
The problem is with the media. All this media, all this fake media, including those who launder the news and live off stolen footage of others, then beg for contributions from people all over the world, they would never do investigative pieces on the violence that has happened in Malda. They would never go because they know that Hindus are the victims. Why should we go? We have to show only Muslims as the victims. If Hindus are the victims, we must avoid. नहीं जाना हमें, क्यों अजय? नहीं जाना हमें, दिखाना भी नहीं है. ये रिपब्लिक प्रेशर डाल रही है कि रिपब्लिक दिखा रही है, तो हम पे भी सब लोग सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, आप क्यों नहीं दिखा रहे? And everybody saying how Waqf protests led to violence in Murshidabad. There is a reductionism there. You see the argument there is, the violence is not the issue. Parliament should not have passed the law.
No, they are trying to provide sympathetic cover.
They are trying to provide covering fire.
Provide sympathetic cover. This is the fact.
And this media is therefore indirectly in league with the people giving rape
People are nothing but radicals, and they are radical supporting elements.
And these are radicalized media also. हमारी media में भी एक section है. Radicalized media है हमारी.
They were blind, deaf and mute to Sandesh Khali, Arnab.
Sandesh
They were
Khali,
blind,
Arjit
deaf and mute to
Kaur,
Deganga.
Kashmiri Pandit.
They were blind, deaf and mute to Kashmir. It's a long tradition. We should be surprised.
No, the Kashmiri
They are
Pandit
steeped in
over
it.
here, if he
Completely
starts
steeped
deciding
in it.
to
And
align with a particular
left is
party,
the biggest culprit.
instead of the cause of the
The
Kashmiri
communists-
Pandits,
The
then we are
communists
surely going to
supported the
denounce
partition
him.
of India
Everybody
and then
supported
left
the
East
cause of
Pakistan
Kashmiri
to come
Pandits.
to India.
We don't support
This is the
Sushil
biggest
Pandit.
hypocrisy.
He is a
Jyoti
BJP
Basu
agent.
was from
He's a
Barishal.
BJP agent, so we
He
don't
left
support
West
Sushil
East
Pandit.
Pakistan.
Yes, so
He
stop backing
supported
one
the
party.
creation of
If you are
Pakistan
serious
and then
about the
fled
cause
from
of
East
the Kashmiri
Pakistan to
Pandit,
come here.
First, don't have
This is what
political.
happened.
And
first,
the
don't
chief
have
minister
political
says,
differences.
the chief minister
That is the
says,
first thing.
the chief minister says,
When you
with a knowing
support
wink,
one
she
party, you
says,
don't support the
the
cause of
chief
Pandits.
minister of Bengal says, Tausif, don't you people know what has happened in Bangladesh? What is she trying to say? Radicalized people took over Bangladesh. What is this
is Ajay
Bangladesh
Alok trying to
example
say?
she gives all the time?
That Muslims
Tausif,
are
what is this
supposed to be
Bangladesh
kicked around
example she is giving?
The way they are being kicked around in Burma.
लोग
what
अल्लाह
is
का
Ajay
कसम
Alok
खाइए
trying to say?
आप लोग अल्लाह का कसम
I ask you,
What is Ajay Alok trying to say?
I ask you, was there not violence in Koliachok in 2016? Who was the chief minister there? Were Hindu residents, Hindu homes not attacked in Koliachok as well?
Your party is Islamophobic.
In Malda 2016, forgot?
You want to hit around Muslims in this
Tausif,
nation.
and today Muslims outnumber Hindus by more than 2:1 in Murshidabad.
There was riots in Delhi in 2020 under supervision of Amit Shah. There was riots in Gujarat under supervision of Amit Shah.
Not under supervision of Amit Shah.
And
there was a riot in Delhi. And Aam Aadmi Party was responsible for it. And we have put them behind the bars. We have put them behind the bars. Just few days back, a boy was murdered by Muslim goons. We have put them behind the bars within 24 hours.
An intelligence bureau officer was killed.
You don't know G of governance.
Border area, entire West
You guys
Bengal,
are instigating the
Amit Shah is
violence.
controlling 50%
Instead of meeting the meeting troubled Hindu families, the chief minister chose to meet mullahs of West Bengal and saying, Allah ka kasam khaiye aap log, Allah ka kasam khaiye, batiyega nahi. What she's scared of, that the Muslim vote will split.
Tausif.
That's all BJP knows. That's all Amit Shah knows. Amit Shah knows how to create riot. And then
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tremendous response tonight to our firm belief that we must change the language and call it anti-Hindu violence for what it is. Calling it anti-Hindu protest is making it look mild. Rape threats are not mild. Killings are not mild. Massacres are not mild. Bloodshed is not mild. So stop using this mild word of anti-Waqf protests. These are not protests at all. And we have some breaking news visuals coming in as I move on my show, and we've had some great visuals coming in. I want to run the full video that we've just got from the Prime Minister's residence of the meeting with J.D. Vance, that's the American Vice President and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We have Abhishek on it, but I'd like to run the full clip if possible with video before I go to Abhishek. I think especially where Prime Minister is meeting J.D. Vance's children, we got some great visuals coming. Let's play that.
Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now Abhishek joins me. Abhishek, these pictures are going to go viral. Let me tell you, there's a softer side of diplomacy here. It's going to go viral all over. And the children were very taken with the peacock feathers eventually. So Prime Minister broke the ice with the children.
Yes or no? And in fact, when the official meeting part happened, then the children were in fact right there inside the LKM, and they spent some time with the real peacocks. So it's not just the feathers that they got to spend some time, and they were amazed is what I am told. But official meeting also went off very well, Arnab, and full delegation. And look at the pictures, so you can see Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary of United States, accompanying Vice President Vance, and that gives you an idea of the kind of seriousness with which the two sides are pursuing the trade agreement, the first round of which is expected to be signed in the next couple of months, in fact, ahead of President Trump's arrival, which happens sometime in November for the Quad Summit that takes place later this year. So we are told that the two sides did an appraisal of the meeting that took place between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump in the month of February, and understandings that were reached. Most importantly, this ambitious target of achieving $500 billion worth of annual two-way trade between India and the United States by 2030. And just to understand what is the scale of ambition, as of today we stand at $130 billion. A decade back in 2015, it was just about 80. So that gives you an idea of the kind of scaling up that needs to be done. And that also, as a corollary, gives an idea that the headwinds of the tariff war that the Trump administration has launched perhaps might not be that strong insofar as India is concerned, because if that scale of trade is to be reached between the two sides, that number of $500 billion, then you cannot have those walls, you cannot have those moats, and you cannot have those difficulties created in terms of tariff and non-tariff barriers. So that's one good takeaway that comes out of the meeting. Essentially, it was more like an appraisal meeting between the two sides as to how things have progressed in the last 2 months since Prime Minister Modi and President Trump met in the White House. And apart from that, of course, the fact that this is essentially a private visit for the Vice President. He has come to make his kids see their roots on the mother's side and connect with those roots. So, imagine landing after that 6 and 7 hour long flight from Rome and then heading straight to Akshardham Temple. And then, of course, this meeting. In fact, tonight itself, the Vice President and his family are wheels up, and they would be landing in Jaipur. The next 2.5 days, they are spending in Jaipur, but for one trip, dash down to Agra to visit the famed Taj Mahal. That's how the trip really pans out. He's also, of course, going to address people of the country as it happens through an event in Jaipur tomorrow at 3 p.m. But that's the only official engagement that the Vice President has. Right. Apart from this, all of it private visit, staying at the Rambagh Palace.
It's all about statement of intent, that we are all moving in the right direction. So sometimes more than the details, the pictures do tell the story. The pictures very pleasing.
One quick point, if I could make.
Yes,
one quick point.
Yes.
Look at the level of engagement. Prime Minister, President have already met. They have spoken 2 times on the phone. Vice President is here. As we speak, our Finance Minister is in the United States. Commerce Minister was there last month, and the Director of National Intelligence has already been in New Delhi. We have seen Tahawur Rana having been extradited. So much happening at this top level really shows the kind of resilience and durability that this relationship
need to build up
really
the manufacturing base to take advantage of the China plus one model, which the whole world is talking about right now. Anyway, Abhishek, thanks very much for that. On the other side, at 9 p.m. tonight, you see, viewers, I always say that we pick up issues others don't talk about, and the issue tonight is something that all of you are talking about. But media organizations, especially the Lutyens media, since they're so scared, are always worried about talking about judicial overreach. What Jagdeep Dhankar has said has struck a chord. I'm not saying he's absolutely right in his use of the language. But the fact is, there is judicial overreach in our country. At least there's a strong sense that there is. Should the judiciary appear to be, even if it is not, appear to be behaving like a super government? When I'm back, that huge debate.
You don't learn journalism in a classroom. You learn it live, inside a buzzing newsroom, on the field, and in the studio. At Republic School of Journalism, We train the future of media inside Asia's largest integrated newsroom. Learn live. Apply now to RSJ. republicschoolofjournalism.com. Applications are open.
सस्ते वाले दाल मसाले स्वाद हुआ बेकार MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े क्या निराला MDH मसाला
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
If your dream job involves a mic, a newsroom, a camera, a breaking story, or just creating content, this is your calling. Republic School of Journalism is accepting applications. republicschoolofjournalism.com. Apply now.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
MDH की देगी मिर्च
देगी मिर्च का तड़का अंग अंग फड़का
MDH की देगी मिर्च
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
सर फैंस है शोर तो करेंगे ही ना
नए वाले नहीं करते and they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
Silly me, I thought
Cricket fans.
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला।
MDH.
You don't learn journalism in a classroom. You learn it live.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
And now it's time for the nation's sharpest opinion. Did Justice Verma, Justice Yashwant Verma, also put a stay anytime in the past on a corruption case against the allegedly very corrupt Shibu Soren? Mind you, I'm not making a charge. I'm simply asking whether the same judge at the center of the judge cash scam now, the same judge in whose house allegedly crores in cash was found burning, is the same judge who put a stay
in the Shibu Soren corruption case, which was investigated by the Lokpal? I'm just asking, and we must ask these questions, shouldn't we? Or is the media so afraid, at least the fake media, pseudo-media, Lutyens media, so afraid of being hauled for contempt that it won't even ask such relevant questions? The job of the media is to ask questions. By the way, what happened to the in-house inquiry against Justice Yashwant Verma, which we were promised will happen very soon? Why is it taking so much time for judges to come to a conclusion about their fellow judge, Justice Yashwant Verma? Why do we have a feeling that once we have stopped the intense scrutiny, the necessary media scrutiny, Republic style, that the proceedings of that inquiry are taking their own sweet time, which in a way is disregard for the strong views of the people of India about judicial corruption? It's so good that Supreme Court Judge Justice Gavai, who is set to be the next Chief Justice, has admitted today, and it's a big admission by Justice Gavai, that the judiciary, in fact, he seems to suggest the Supreme Court itself is facing allegations of trying to take over the government's job. And Justice Gavai, you are absolutely right, because the judiciary in India has become this closed echo chamber that is accountable to nobody except itself, and which in the name of judicial purview seems to want to control every other aspect. Tell the media how it should do its job, tell the lawmakers how to frame laws, and even start issuing instructions to the President of India. I believe it's time the judiciary should stop behaving like a super legislature or a super government, or for that matter, if the judiciary doesn't believe it's behaving like a super government or a super legislature, then it's also important that they do not give the impression that they think they are a super government or a super legislature, because they are not. They're constitutionally bound not to even give that impression. These impressions that you are behaving like a super government, super executive, super legislature, super media sometimes, these impressions are important not to give for the judiciary, because the judiciary is not elected. And we must realize that above everything, we are a democracy. And we are not to run as an unelected judicial supremacy. We have the highest respect for the courts. But then the courts also must have equal respect to the government and to the legislature, and I'm sure they do. And to the media, by the way, and I'm sure they do. But they must not give an impression to anyone tonight that they don't. The impressions are important. Why are observations from the court so top-down? Why does the court have to get into everything? Is this important? Is this good for our democracy? Is this good for our country? Where do we go if the judiciary becomes corrupt? Who do we ask? An in-house inquiry that doesn't move? Accountability that does not exist? Supervision which is seen to be against the judiciary's interest? Tonight is a novel move, and perhaps for the first time on this subject in the history of the Indian media, I'm taking on this issue. I'm throwing that issue open, and I need your support on this. I'm giving you your voice. Do you feel there is judicial overreach in India? Tell me. And what I'm going to do tonight is, I'm going to open the phone lines, and the results of this national poll on judicial overreach will go live, giving us a sense, and also, in my view, giving the courts and the judiciary a sense of how the country and the people of the country think on the subject of hashtag judicial overreach, a subject which involves all of us, which we need to debate very intensely for the future of Indian democracy. Let's debate.
Judiciary, the third pillar of democracy, the guardian protector of the constitution and the fundamental rights of the people, is in the middle of a controversy. From mountains of cash in a judge's home to judicial overreach charges. The top court is under scrutiny. The Vice President saying that the faith in judiciary was eroding.
लोगों के दिल पर इस घटना से गहरी चोट लगी है। लोगों का विश्वास डगमगा गया है। Where are we heading? What is happening in the country? We have to be extremely sensitive. We never bargained for democracy for this day. President being called upon to decide in a time-bound manner, and if not, becomes law. So we have judges who will legislate, who will perform executive functions, who will act as super parliament, and absolutely have no accountability because law of the land does not apply to them.
It was just days ago when BJP MP Nishikant Dubey came down heavily on the Supreme Court. He asked if Parliament and Assembly should be shut down if the judiciary was involved in making laws.
नज़ीर की एक जजमेंट है, 1942 की प्रिवी काउंसिल की जजमेंट है। उसमें यह कहा गया कि जहां कानून नहीं लिखा हुआ है उसके बारे में यदि प्रिवी काउंसिल या सुप्रीम कोर्ट कोई जजमेंट देती है तो बात समझ में आती है। यहाँ पूरा जजमेंट लिखा हुआ है कि राष्ट्रपति का क्या अधिकार है, उपराष्ट्रपति का क्या अधिकार है, प्रधानमंत्री का क्या अधिकार है, हमारे पार्लियामेंट का क्या अधिकार है, हमारे सुप्रीम कोर्ट का क्या अधिकार है, हाई कोर्ट का अधिकार है। जब सब कुछ लिखत पढ़त में है तो तुम नया कानून कैसे बना दिया? 3 महीना कहाँ से लेके आ गए कि राष्ट्रपति को 3 महीने के अंदर फैसला करना है? ये किस कानून में लिखा हुआ है? इसका मतलब ये है कि आप इस देश को एनार्की की तरफ ले जाना चाहते हो, और एनार्की जो है इस देश में बर्दाश्त नहीं होगी। जब नया कानून आएगा, जब नया पार्लियामेंट बैठेगा, इसके ऊपर विस्तृत चर्चा होगी। इस देश में धार्मिक युद्ध भड़काने के लिए केवल और केवल सुप्रीम कोर्ट जिम्मेवार है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट अपनी सीमा से बाहर जा रहा है और सब कुछ के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाना है तो इस संसद का कोई मतलब नहीं है, विधानसभा का कोई मतलब नहीं है, उसको बंद कर देना है।
Backing the controversial stand of Nishikant Dubey were several BJP leaders and cadre who questioned the CJI's role over legislative decisions.
निशिकांत दुबे जी जो बोले हैं वो तो सही बात बोले हैं। जो पार्लियामेंट, जो सांसद, जहां पर सारे भारत के सांसद लोग बैठ के पॉलिसी मेकर जो नियम बना रहे, रूल बना रहे, उसी नियम को आप खंडन कर देंगे तो ये कहाँ का नियम है? तो फिर पार्लियामेंट को बंद कर दीजिए।
However, the BJP leadership though has distanced itself from the BJP MP's remark. However, even the Supreme Court today acknowledged the overreach debate. The Supreme Court today said it was already facing a charge for encroachment into the executive's domain as a lawyer sought to highlight incidents of violence in West Bengal and sought a direction for invoking Article 355 of the Constitution. Experts of the law are calling it an age-old tussle.
See, this has been in a way a constant tussle. It's not the first time issues are coming up between the judiciary and the executive and who's got the right to decide what. So ultimately this debate seems to be never ending, though it should end, because ultimately you need the confidence of people in the respective fields. And I think for that the separation of powers which has been underlying our constitution is the most important.
The Congress party, which itself has targeted the judiciary in the past, has come down heavily on the BJP for its criticism of the judiciary.
How does Mr. Shah know what is happening in the political world? What are the forces at work which want to destroy a developing economy? Is a judge competent to decide that? Then why have democracy? Why have elections? Why have political people in power?
Judicial overreach also has a rich history of being rigged up in parliamentary debates. This intervention from Arun Jaitley takes us back to the time when there was a need for the NJAC.
I think we are going a bit too far now in every legislation in creating post-retirement avenues for judges. If we don't create it, they themselves create it. I'm glad the Supreme Court has reviewed its verdict saying every member of the CIC must be a judge, retired. You have a situation where what should be the fees of a college is an accounting method. The Supreme Court by a judicial order said fees of medical colleges and engineering colleges must be fixed by retired judges. and then said in every state we've created 2 more jobs. I think this whole temptation of continuing to occupy a Lithian's bungalow is a very serious temptation.
With concerns on judicial transparency increasing with each passing day, is judicial overreach the new point of conflict between the executive and the judiciary?
Mahesh Jetmalani, does the Supreme Court not realize that the credibility of the judiciary is going for a toss with this temptation of getting into everything with obvious judicial overreach? Does they not realize they're overstretching it?
Yeah, I think in recent times there is a growing feeling that the judiciary is over-intervening in areas that do not belong to it, that it's meddling in the executive preserve. I think it started with it really started all with this anti-defection law business. It became very tempting for the judiciary. For instance, that whole Maharashtra assembly case, it just took too much time, and you kept a government that had come into existence on tenterhooks for the entire period of those 2 years that it ran the remainder of its tenure. It was a very simple matter. In that matter, Uddhav Thackeray had resigned as chief minister. That was the end of the matter. A new government had to be formed. Yet that anti-defection matter went on until today is pending in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So I find that sometimes some legislation invites the Supreme Court into executive preserves. Right now, that was a classic example, because after Uddhav Thackeray resigned as chief minister, there was no need. A new government had to be formed unless you wanted a fresh election, which is not the preserve of the judiciary. It's for the chief minister of the day to decide. Why does the
judiciary want to get into things? I'm just trying to understand. Is it because the opposition is weak? Is it because the whole lobby in Delhi is sort of encouraging it? Go get into it. We are behind you. This whole attempt at sort of pleasing, legal websites, wanting to remain relevant. Is it just that? Is it as innocent as just that?
Yeah, it's a fact. It is. I mean, when an opposition is extremely weak and is constantly on the run and facing defeats time and time after over again, I suppose to some extent the judiciary does step in, and sometimes maybe checks, provides healthy checks on the executive excesses, right? But it can't be that you take your sometimes healthy checks, right, as being a pattern which you should forever follow. That is the.
But that way they can get into everything. They can get into everything. There's nothing in the name of judicial oversight. They can get into everything they want to.
The last example of their putting, circumscribing and imposing time limits on the governor and the president in particular, right? And that issue was not even decided by a 5-judge bench. It's a very serious matter. It's a substantial question of law regarding the interpretation of the Constitution. If at all they wanted to go into it, that should have been done by a 5-judge bench. On that, the law is very clear. Article 145(3) says so. And I think that now really raises, and that's what got Vice President Dhankar's, ire. That's what happened, because you impose an arbitrary 3-month period on the president. And actually, it was the governor's conduct in that case, the governor of Tamil Nadu's conduct.
Yeah, but you have Kapil Sibal saying that don't forget the Supreme Court. Don't forget the president doesn't really have any powers. There are people who are egging the courts on. Go on, don't mind. But I know a lot of people upset that President Draupadi Murmu is being given instructions, like a headmaster gives to students by the Supreme Court. It's very upsetting. The President of India is being insulted by the process, I think. It's very sad.
Yeah, that kind of, there was also, I think the Supreme Court also failed in this case to give respect to the constitutional authorities. They may have, in the case of the governor, found his actions terribly wrong, the governor of Tamil Nadu. But I think it could have been dealt with much more finesse. then it was actually was dealt with. And certainly, as far as the circumscribing the power of the president for 3 months was not even an issue in the case anymore, because the case was decided
case by
on the
case
governor's
by case.
conduct.
You know, for example, people said that Chandrachud was very fond of being in the media, so he would always make the kind of arguments, you know, that would fly with the media and get quoted. And every judge wants to have a verdict or a judgment in their name that will make them go down the annals of history. In the case of Justice Chandrachud, it is always going to be the Arnab Goswami versus State of Maharashtra case. And whether Justice Chandrachud likes it or not, I will always say that the time I expected him to speak was during this Yashwant Verma case. I'm so disappointed that Justice Chandrachud chose not to say anything about that case. So when it comes to sticking their neck out on issues, they do not want to talk about it. But on other occasion, one gets the feeling that they're egged on to almost becoming an unelected opposition in the country. Or maybe in the Prime Minister Modi's time, there is a group that wants them to play that role, which they must resist that temptation.
Well, you know,
wanting to play that.
As far as remember one thing, Arnab, as far as the opposition is concerned, they are the most inconsistent, because
but they're trying to shoot off the cold
on the one
shoulder.
hand, they supported the NJC. They unanimously supported the NJC in Parliament, right? Now what happens is, every time they get a setback from the courts, right? For instance, the very same Kapil Sibal who's now taking up cudgels for the judiciary against Vice President Dhankar, only the other day wanted to impeach Justice Deepak Mishra. He was talking about impeaching him.
The question,
because
not the name.
So you know,
the question is not executive versus judiciary. It's a long one. Yeah.
That inconsistent. Their responses are all knee-jerk. It depends upon the judgments. The result of the judgments in which they're interested in. If it goes against them, then the judiciary is terrible. If it goes in their favor, then of course they take up cudgels for the judiciary. So they are not consistent at all. You know.
Sometimes do you think
as far as the opposition is concerned,
should not get into everything, and then at the end of what happens is when if the Supreme Court does not dismiss something over, either it picks up and decides quickly. But for example, in the CA case, right? The CA was to fast-track citizenship for persecuted non-Muslims from neighboring countries, right? As usual, it was swiftly challenged by the Indian Union Muslim League, claiming it violated Article 24. And then in March last year, the Supreme Court refused to say the CA's implementation, allowing the law to take into effect. But then it took time. I mean, you know, months and years pass in the process. The issue gets intensely politicized. The resolution that Parliament seeks does not happen. And on everything today, 370, NJC, appointment of Chief Election Commissioner, Waqf law, everything the court has to get into it. Then the focus is not on what the government wants to do, but what the court decides on what the government does. In other words, then the court becomes a super government.
Well, there is a tendency, there has been a tendency in the last 3 years for the Supreme Court to try and encroach on...
Why? Why? I'm trying to understand why. Do the honorable judges not know the Lakshman Rekha?
No, they do. They do. But it has to be pointed out to them in court that this...
But then they talk about the freedom of the media, and then they're constantly commenting on the media. I mean, I also have a grouse as a media person. I say constantly passing judgments on the media, observations on the media, wanting to control the media, wanting to decide the media's agenda, observation not necessary.
But it does, you know, to be fair to the Supreme Court, it doesn't do it suo motu. Most of the time, it's a group of public interest litigants.
Yeah, but the court is to decide.
Financed by NGOs
but there's a basic structure.
Dubious origins that bring these matters to court, and then I guess the Supreme Court feels compelled to decide on it, and it takes time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just extremely concerned. What I'm concerned about, Mahesh, as I wrap this up, let me tell you the poll results so far. That's what causes me concern. Because as of now, and I believe 95% of people on this live poll, digitally live poll are saying there's judicial overreach in India.
Arnab, that poll result may partly be because in recent times, thanks to that Yashwant Verma episode, right?
The credibility is fallen.
The judiciary the credibility has plummeted. And I would only suggest that the judiciary resolve this in-house inquiry as soon as possible. The sooner that is done, the better it will be for the credibility of the judiciary. So those plummeting figures which you're seeing have something to do with their own delay in cleaning up their audience tables.
Yeah, they need to. Well, thank you very much. Mahesh, always
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
Arnab.
Thank you very much. Amitabh Sinha is representing the BJP point of view, Supreme Court lawyer. Mr. R. Rajagopalan is pro-BJP in this case, but he feels there's judicial overreach, so does Savio Rodriguez. And we have Renu Mittal, who's pro-Congress and who probably feels there is no overreach, and Sanjeev Srivastava feels there is no overreach. We're opening the debate tonight. I'd like to open the debate with Sanjeev, because he has a big smile on his face, like always. But you know, people are angry, Sanjeev. They're not smiling like you. There are concerns of overstepping, which are very genuine. The Supreme Court is one of the most respected institutions in the country, but it has become the center of a national controversy because, you know, they're constantly being seen to be overstepping constitutional boundaries. And to the extent to which today Justice Gawai acknowledged this. Big acknowledgement, right, Suraja Gopalan? Big acknowledgement today by him. What do you think? Unmute yourself.
Absolutely, Arnab. Absolutely, Arnab.
The Supreme Court is saying...
Deepavali, voters are important, Arnab. The people of India are more important than the Supreme. They are supreme. For me, voters are supreme. Deepavali, for crackers. Don't do crackers. Supreme Court advises to the crack owners. What is that crack? In Sivakasi, in Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Court closed many of the cracker shops. So that they want to give that judgment on every fact. If you want to toll tax, fast tag immediately when Supreme Court comes.
And now there's this controversy which just came. I mean, I just came in. I think Jay Anand Dehadrai has tweeted. The Analyzer has tweeted. I don't know if it's true. I asked Rhythm to check whether it is true that the Chhattisgarh, by the way, the Chhattisgarh High Court Chief Justice allegedly, instead of operating from Bilaspur, has been operating out of Lucknow for 2 weeks. I mean, how can you do that? If a Chief Justice operates out of Lucknow, another city for 2 weeks, maybe there are personal reasons, I don't want to get into it, but can it really be questioned, Rhythm?
For that, he has to take
permission from Chief Justice of India. This is absolutely confirmed now. We've got it from legal sources. We also tried to get in touch with Mr. Vinod, who is the Registrar General of the Chhattisgarh Court.
What did he say?
The news is confirmed. The Chhattisgarh High Court Chief Justice is running the courtroom from Lucknow for the past 2 weeks.
Why? Maybe some personal
virtual
reasons.
hearings are from there. In fact, we've also gone on the YouTube link and shared the YouTube link.
But if he has personal reasons to do so, is that not all right?
Well, Arnab, I'm also being told that as the administrative head, the custodian of the justice delivery system in Chhattisgarh, it is not all right for the Chief Justice to be having court from Lucknow.
So when we get an update from the Chief Justice of Chhattisgarh, we will update the story and give him a complete opportunity at giving his point of view. Those are pictures that clearly does not appear to be in court. That seems to be in some kind of a chamber. Okay, now strange things are happening all over the place. Back to the debate. I'll keep you on the debate, Rhythm, because you know so much about this. Now, what's going on? And then there's this in-house inquiry. It's not doing anything. Sanjeev. But you're getting into everything. Waqf, this, that, everything. There's nothing the court doesn't get into anymore.
There are a few things here. One is, so not everything is fine with judiciary, we all know. The justice system is, if not broken, it is crippled. There's so much time, there's so much delay in justice. Cases in thousands and lakhs are pending. Appointments is also a question whether collegium is the best system possible. All those things are there. And this particular case your Rhythm is mentioning about the Chhattisgarh Chief Justice operating from Lucknow. But these are completely different issues. They point to the deficiencies in the judiciary system which need to be addressed. But to challenge the basic role of judiciary, they are the ones who are supposed to safeguard and interpret the constitution. And if they are doing so...
political decisions are political decisions. One minute. Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very good the court is getting into everything, which begins with a presumption. I presume, Amitabh Sinha, I take this to you, that if the court is getting into everything, that means the court has a lot of time. But then at the same time, you're saying the court has no time. The Aam Janta are not getting their cases heard, but then you're having long hearings on 370. long hearings on CAA.
Courts.
No, what is this? What about the people of the country? What about the people of the country? Who's going to look at their cases? Yeah, Amitabh.
People can
Yes,
vote.
yes.
People
Sanjeev,
can vote. People
Sanjeev,
can vote
just
for
hold
a
on.
two-thirds majority
Let me,
government.
Sanjeev,
Change the constitution.
let me say something. Arnab, let me.
Sure.
Hello. So Arnab, here I am trying to put forward the legal constitutional point of view as well as the opinion of my clients and the citizens of the country in general. BJP, what exactly the BJP thinks or what exactly BJP should say, I am not here to say. I am really bothered about the people of India who earlier thought that still judiciary is a sacrosanct and very, very dependable institution, and that concept is being eroded. It is painful for me because I am a practicing lawyer and I face the public as well as the court on a day-to-day basis. So it is a really painful situation for me. My point is very clear. See, in this debate or this controversy has started after the Supreme Court had taken a very drastic step and gave the instruction to the governor as well as the president of India to finalize all the pending the proposals from the state legislative assembly to complete within 3 months. So that time limit has been issued to the President of India. So my point is very clear. Under Article 124, President of India is the employer of the judges, Supreme Court as well as High Court. So the employee cannot issue instruction to the employer. This is a very clear fundamental. Number 2, under Article 361, it is very much clear. If you will allow me to just read out the provisions. This provision in a very simple term I would like to narrate. The President or the Governor or any Raj Pramukh of a state shall not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of his or her office or for any act done or purporting to be done by him or her in the exercise and performance of those powers and duties. It is very clear under Article 361. So if the court is under Article 42, they are trying to bulldoze the executive like this, it is clear violation of Article 361 of the Constitution. And according to me, all these things are now open to the public debate these days because of the media, active media and social media. So the people have started thinking and talking about all these things is violations, number 1. Number 2, see, I was pained when, July
It's so boring
1st, just a minute, July 1st,
Parliament short,
2023. July 1st, 2023.
Enough.
Just a minute. July 1, 2023.
Enough of your bhashan, yaar.
What visualization?
Don't use words which are unparliamentary. Employers and employees. What's he talking about here?
You don't know anything, ABC of the law. I am quoting only law.
No, we don't know anything. Only you know.
No,
what law, yaar? What law, yaar? The entire government is violating the law. What law are you talking about, yaar?
What exactly is your...
governor in Tamil Nadu has not even resigned.
Your Akas have done it in the past. I know you. The Congress has bulldozed the entire judiciary whenever it found opportunity. You are the spokesperson of Congress. Yes, I know you personally. Don't tell me all these things. I know you personally.
You don't know anything.
I have seen
you don't know anything
during media handling. So just a minute. Don't interrupt. I am telling you. I am not telling you. I am just trying to.
Don't give so much time to all these people.
No, just a minute. Let me complete. And what happened? What happened on 1st July 2023? One notorious woman, Tista Sitalwar, she was arrested. She was at the verge of arrest. And the High Court and the Sessions Court had rejected the bail. Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India, when he was watching a dance performance in the evening, he only on the mobile, he changed the bench and then ensured that Tista Sitalwad will get the bail. What was the reason? And number two, when Arnav was behind the bars, so he had to stay there for almost 16, 17 days without any fault. So all these things are now before the public. People of India.
But the problem is, I'll tell you on that. I'll tell you one thing. See, Justice Chandrachud does this balancing. He says, I gave bail to Arnav and he gave bail to some guy accused of terrorism. What's his name? Rhythm? What's his name? Rhythm?
He's given bail to...
He says, I gave bail to Arnav and I gave bail to... Who's the other guy?
Yes. I just give me a second.
Some